I want to welcome you to this episode of the CVC Home Service Success Network, where every week we here at CVC Success Group come online, do a broadcast, hopefully share some ideas, some concepts with you that you can put to use to help you get that business to one of what you constantly dream on. You know, it's an ongoing task to make it happen. You got to face the frustrations, you got to face all the challenge that comes up, and it seems like the challenges seem to just mount up more and more day by day. And it's so overwhelming sometimes. So, anyway, earlier this week, I did something that I haven't done in years. A local high school teacher contacted me and wanted me to put on a presentation for their entrepreneurial warring class. Kind of blew my mind a little bit. I did not know that high schools now taught entrepreneurship to their students. It was really a fantastic experience because I think I had 20 some people in this classroom. And when I asked them what kind of business they wanted to start, every single one of them had a type of business in mind. And I was expecting here, hey, I want to be a social media influencer, which I understand is one of the biggest desires on the part of so many of our young people this day and time, but it wasn't. I heard people telling me about wanting to start blue collar businesses. There were three people in that class that wanted to start a landscaping business. There was also people in the class that wanted to become a contractor. One young man, he wanted to be a real estate developer, real estate investor. And as I kept going around the class, I just heard more and more. One wanted to open an art studio, another wanted to be an architect, and one designed big buildings. And it was really inspirational to me. But after we got done with that, Cheryl came up with today's topic, which is how are you involved in your community? How are you investing in your community? And your community is the people that you presently serve, sell items to, provide services for, but your community also includes those that may buy your products, may engage your services. So it did a lot of thinking about it. And when she suggested this as a topic, I said, that's a pretty good idea. So I'm gonna go over to Cheryl. Cheryl, what was in your mind whenever you were talking about this and came up? How involved are you in your community?
Well, especially since the hurricane came through and we've had to be so involved in that and watched people donate and everything else, time and their services, I got to thinking about what about the little things we don't donate to? I mean, I donate clothes to Hope Charity, you donate money to certain things, but do you donate your time? Do you donate to the people that really need your help? I don't think enough people do that. You assume everybody else is taking care of the problem, and so you just back out and don't try. I think it's great when each company has something that they sponsor, something they take care of, places they visit to help improve, and they're not holding their hand out for money. It doesn't always take money to give to somebody. A lot of times it's just your time.
Yeah. And when you say that, remember, you may be dealing with a very small area that is your community, and you may be dealing with a very large community spread across the country. It's like one of our suppliers to the industry, National Chimney Supply, has been running a promotion this year to honor John Meredith, and they have been donating a percentage of all sales to one of John Meredith's favorite charities, which is Warrior Horse. And that's just one of the ways that you see that people are doing this. So that's the question to you today. How are you building yourself, your brand as a community involvement? Because this is one of the ways that you can certainly feel really good about what you're doing. It's where you're investing back into the community that you serve. Right now, one of my favorite things is going on is to donate to the people in the mountains of Western North Carolina. I've made two trips through Western North Carolina since the hurricane hit, And the devastation up there is unreal. And to find out that people are still living in tents up there and they're not getting the help, if it weren't for the volunteers such as Samaritan's Purse and others, if they were just depending on FEMA up in those mountains, folks, they would sincerely be in much worse problems than they are. Because if you ever go up there and see the devastation, it's going to take years for this to all be cleared up. When you ride around up there, you see houses that have been taken off the foundation. The other day, I was visiting with a client and we went out looking at some of his job sites. And we went past a school, an entire school that had been taken off of its foundation up there, and the school was closed. And it made me wonder, and I asked him, I said, well, where are those kids going to school at this time? And I wonder what's happening with this. And they do those kind of things. So anyway, what are you doing for your community involvement? And when you talk about your community, it also goes down to your industry. How are you involved in your industry? How are you supporting your industry? Are you supporting it through your membership and associations? Are you volunteering your efforts into doing this? It's just a question for you of where you're at in this world. But donating your time, donating some resources to your community is a way to give back to the community that supports you. So Cheryl, those are kind of my thoughts on this subject today. You got anything else on it you want to delve into here?
You asked earlier what really caught my attention to this. It was actually something I saw on the internet. There was a child that froze to death in Hendersonville. And so they could have used the donation that needed to get there. I think people need to keep their eyes open on local things like that, but we also have to look at our young people coming up, like you did. You talked to a bunch of young people. Now, you and I both know a percentage of those won't do what they're saying, but if only one comes out as a true entrepreneur, you did your day's job the other day for just a couple hours. So check in the schools. And then we have a gentleman here in Charlotte that believes in tools for schools. He is always donating his time to the trades to get young people to come into the trades. And I think that's a huge one, that especially the people that you and I frequent more than a lot of other places, is we need to be worried about giving our time to helping young people get into the trades, helping them get the tools they need, and making a huge effort to make the blue collar trade stay in existence. As you and I both know, it has dropped a lot, and it's people, a lot of them are sent off to college. I interview every day, and a lot of them are college people that are now looking for a job in the trades. So don't always expect that a child needs to go to college. We need plumbers, we need electricians, and we need people out there that support these people, these young kids that are looking to go in that direction.
Well, there's you an idea. One of the things in business, you got to build your brand. And by being involved in your community, it's going to be a very, very forward thinking way to build the brand in your community. Remember, who's your community? It's the people that buy from you or may buy from you. You've got to get your brand out there and become known with your brand. And with that, this is a short message a day from us. We just wanted to touch on this today. Hopefully, it will give you some ideas of how you can be involved in your community to build your brand, to help others, and to spread goodwill amongst the community. And with that, we appreciate you joining us for a few brief moments this morning, something to think about, and hope each and every one of you are planning on a really great Christmas. You can see Cheryl's got her Christmas tree up over her left shoulder. So, hey, she's getting in the Christmas mood. I was in her office earlier and she was playing some Christmas music up there. So I guess she's already getting in the mood up there. So with that, we'll see you next week on the next episode of the CVC Home Service Success Network. Appreciate you joining us. It's always an honor, it's a privilege, and it's a pleasure to be able to speak to you like this each and every week.